I think it's an understatement to say that 2021 has been a powerhouse of great anime. And although summer did lose a bit of steam, I was still expecting fall to be okay at least. But oh man, fall is giving us a great closing to a great year. The average quality of these shows has been amazing. It's pretty difficult to see how I'll fit everything into my schedule. Since it's a lot of anime, I'm gonna do a quick rundown of what I've liked this season, some quick thoughts from the first episode or episodes, and hopefully something will catch your eye. As always, if you can help me out with the YouTube algorithm, with your like, hitting the subscribe button, hitting the little magic bell that doesn't work, and I might do some more of these. I'd appreciate it, and let me know you care. Let's not waste more time and get right to it. This is a rundown of the anime of fall 2021. The first new good anime is Blue Period, or I Know That Feel, the show. Yatora is a high school student, getting ready to choose a career and what college to go to. He aces his classes, but is bored by them, and is okay with having a future with a well-paid job, and to just plow through life. One day he gets inspired by a beautiful morning blue hue in his local city, and decides to draw it in his art class. He falls in love with portraying this and other scenes of his daily life. This prompts him to rethink his future and find a way to get into art. I immediately feel identified with his nervousness in changing a career path so suddenly. And I adored the message that even though going for an art career is tough, there will be opportunities to show your skills and catch a break. The important thing is to do something you love regardless of all those things. Pretty good animation, decent character design, beautiful backgrounds, and I personally love the scenes where Yatora is 100% focused on drawing every little detail. I just hope the rest of the episodes capture the same good feel moments from the first episode. Another anime centered in doing what you love, but not as strong, is Pride of Orange, or basically cute anime girls playing hockey. I don't know, this one's weird. You have the opening of them playing a badass hockey game, they win, and they become idols and start singing on the ice. Flashback and they're back at school wondering if they should join the hockey tryouts. I mean, it's fine if you're into hockey or cute girls, but it's a bit generic. Speaking of generic, we also have Selection Project, which is basically like a Japan's Got Talent for idols. The protagonist here survives a childhood sickness to become a candidate for this competition, but it's basically the same old story of the cute anime girl trying her hardest to be the best idol she can be. If idols are your thing, go for it, but there's way better anime to follow. In fantasy, we have Banished from the Heroes Party. I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside. I mean, just as the title says, Red is kicked out from his party and decides to go and be the owner of a pharmacy in a little town, who then gets accompanied by a lone adventurer, Rit. I first thought it was gonna be an isekai, but actually it's an okay fantasy anime. I like how the townspeople depend on Red, especially after he was kicked out from the party in the most out-of-nowhere way, just like HR giving you a one-day notice. The science and animation are fine, it's just a feel-good anime. I'm not sure if it's gonna get more dramatic since the original party is still out there, but we'll find out. Another promising one is Platinum End, a story by the people who wrote Death Note. We see our normal class celebrating that they're gonna graduate, and then we cut to Mirai Kakehashi about to jump off a building, proclaiming that he only wanted to be happy. He is then saved by an odd-looking white angel named Nase, telling him that she'll do anything to grant him happiness, offering the power to fly, and also to control people's minds, which is a pretty big jump. This goes from 0 to 10 instantly because he has to use those arrows, as he were Cupid, to make the other person fall madly in love with him and do anything he wants with them. At the end of the episode, we are told that the purpose of this power is to determine who will be the next god. So I'm assuming that he has to survive and kill the other candidates, which will make it interesting. Again, you can really feel the kind of Death Note atmosphere on this. And although it's not as visually good as that, the music and character design and reactions really help to aid how weird and screwed up the story and the powers are. I'm just curious what the twist is gonna be with the angels. They don't really seem like good guys. Now let me talk real quick about the isekais this season. The story of Faraway Paladin really intrigued me, as the protagonist one day wakes up as a baby after dying in the real world, and is found by 3 undeads: Blood the Skeleton Warrior, Gus the Wise Sorcerer, and Mary the Mummy Priestess. Although they don't know how he got there, together these 3 race well in order to survive the outside world, teaching him about the monsters that lurk in the land, how to fight, and how to wield magic. It has decent enough animation, but the main cast is pretty well designed and the story is interesting. I'm curious how well it's going to be able to adapt to this new world as he grows to become a paladin, and what will happen with these 3 friends. It seems like there's more to this world with all those secret chants and praying to the gods, but we will see. I also saw The Fruit of Evolution, and it's not as good. Basically, a whole school is told one day by the intercom that God will transport them into another world, and each of them can be sent in a group. Unfortunately, the protagonist Seichi is an ugly, revolting, dirty, smelly fat ass, and nobody wanted to be his partner. Taking pity on him, God basically sends him over to a different location where the fruit of evolution grows. He eats it and easily grows and grows his level until he is met with a female monkey who falls in love with him. She then decides to evolve into a red-headed waifu to gain his affection. I mean, it's lackluster regarding animation and character design is a bit off. It does get funny at times, but I don't think it's worth it. That monkey girl though. Wait. The isekai I'm most excited for is The World's Best Assassin. It follows an old man through his last mission as a professional assassin, but is double-crossed and killed in pretty much the most overkill way I've seen in a while. Forget about Truck-kun, we have Plane-kun now. He is reborn by a goddess with a mission to kill this other world's hero. While the first episode focuses on his past life, we are shown that he pretty much has a harem of killer waifu partners. In a pretty cool action scene where they try to take down an organization selling girls, we have a showcase of them, with pretty well done animation, an interesting twist to the isekai genre so far. We'll see how this goes through the next episodes, but I'll definitely follow it up. Alright, before we go on, I gotta do a quick rundown of the anime I wasn't really interested in, and the ones I thought were pretty bad. We have an ASMR anime that I really didn't bother to watch, not a big fan of that. Plus, they're jumping on the trend pretty late by now, but if you're into that, plus cute girls, go for it. We have Yu-Gi-Oh! Light, with the first episode trying to explain all the rules, and it's basically a tournament arc with the chosen one at the dark past. Not really for me, but if you've been wanting a new card game anime, it's at least visually good. For CGI, we have Tesla Note, which is pretty much X-Arm 2, but not as X-Arm as X-Arm, if that makes any sense. It uses the same method of combining 2D animation with 3D for whatever reason, and although it's a bit more competent than X-Arm, it still looks pretty bad. You have a girl that's been trained to be a ninja since birth in order to fight the dimension-jumping enemy using Nikola Tesla's technology, which sounds like a really good plot, but man, does that animation suck. Another one with weird animation is the perfectly named Visual Prison. This is probably the most what the fuck anime I've seen this season. It starts off with a loner sad boy walking by himself and singing, then vampires come out of nowhere and break into song as well, and then they sing more and control people, and then a group of people come out and fight them with song too? I don't know guys, this is like a goth or emo music video anime, and I'm not really into it. We also have Shikisakura, which is a demon fighting Power Ranger team, which does sound cool, but believe me, it's really not. Its CGI is fine, but at times it does get a bit jarring. It's a world where Oni, or demons, are coming to control humans, and a team with mech-like suits fight them with a priestess. But again, not too much to talk about. Next one is... oh jeez, get out of there! Bad touch! Bad touch! I'm sorry, but I feel so wrong watching this. Not because I missed the part that it was gonna be a boys love anime. I saw that it was gonna be about a bookstore clerk that has the ability to see ghosts, and although he doesn't want to, he is needed to solve crimes. But the second the partner came in and forcibly touched our protagonist, I just really felt weird and uncomfortable. Honestly, even if you're into this kind of anime, this one is just creepy, and not because of the ghosts. Last bad one is Deep Insanity. First episode was a huge exposition dump telling us that the world is pretty much going crazy because of a virus, and they are sending people underground to Antarctica to fight CGI monsters. Probably the worst ones this season. A kid who wants to be a hero is sent, and that's pretty much what I remember. It's forgettable. It just screams bad. Okay, back to more good stuff. Something new that I really liked was Sakugan. This follows a daughter-father relationship that I really haven't seen much in anime recently, in a post-apocalyptic world, living in an underground society called Labyrinth, in which you're either a worker or you explore the outside world as a marker. This is dangerous since there are a lot of monsters and unknown things that could kill you. Memempu wants to be a marker, since she has visualized this in a dream, but Kagumber, her dad, doesn't allow this since she's very young. Basically it all goes to shit, and he decides to go along with her and explore the outside. I get a vibe of Made in Abyss with exploring the unknown, as well as with the digging. Visually pretty good, and I'm really liking the dynamic of the characters and their designs. We'll see where this goes, but I'm excited. The one anime I was really disappointed about has been Miruko-chan. It's advertised as a comedy/horror show, and although it has some pretty scary designs, and that ending got me in the first episode, I'm not getting how is this supposed to be a comedy. It's more ecchi than funny. Maybe I'm not getting the joke, but there's way more hilarious stuff out there. The protag is being followed by ghosts, but she can see them. And she's trying to live her normal life, going to school, having a pretty well developed friend, if you know what I mean, trying not to invoke the wrath of these ghouls. I was expecting some funny situations combined with the horror aspect, but all we're getting is pretty cringy close-ups and somewhat annoying character interactions. Probably a skip for me. If you want an actual good comedy this season, look no further than The Vampire Dies Quick. We follow Ronaldo, the vampire hunter, who goes against Raluk, who has the weakness to pretty much everything. You touch him weird, he dies. You say something hurtful, he dies. You beat him in a game, he dies. You think that'd get old, but no, they worked that out really well. Perfect comedic timing that had me laughing harder than I thought it would. Great characters, good visuals, and voice acting. A banger opening with great animation, and I'm pretty much sold on this. It's unfortunate that it's being watched by so little people, but definitely give it a try. We also have a Russian vampire going to space. The third vampire anime this season. I think a lot of people are sleeping on this one. Basically, we're in Russia during the Space Wars to see who goes to the moon first. And after sending the first dog, they still don't want to test on humans. So they decide to send the vampire waifu. And maybe it's me since I just finished watching Chernobyl, but man, I'm hooked on the Russian part of this. She is paired up with a Russian astronaut trainee who can't go, and we're following their journey. Visually good, and I'm curious where this will go. There's a bunch of mech anime going on this season, but one that caught me off guard was Rumble Garandol. Focused on 2019, a rift in time opens above Japan, and a futuristic army comes into rule. Our protagonist works as a host in a bar in Shinjuku, but once the invasion came in, he's saved by a giant unpiloted robot. He gets in and puts on a VR headset, and finding a chibi girl powering up the mecha with her emotion, and when she's fired up, the battery is full. She then bonds with the Playboy MC over anime music. Nice. And they manage to escape thanks to the Commander Ballsack. It's then revealed that the battery girl is actually a normal girl, so it kind of works like the Darling and the Franxx robots, but without the weird pairing system. So that's sad. I mean, honestly, it's ranked kind of low on some sites, but I'm going to give it a shot because it seems like an okay mech anime with some good comedy and some okay action. A decent enough story with okay visuals. The other mech anime that I watched was Warrior at the Borderline. A bit more serious at first. It's 2061 and Japan has been divided by multiple countries, and the original citizens live their lives being oppressed. Amo Shiba, an orphan who loves machines, one day finds a self-thinking AI in the woods, as you do. Turns out he also found a garage with an abandoned robot, and after being chased by the armed forces, the AI fuses with the Gundam and they fight their way out of this. As these kind of anime go, the animation on the robot is pretty well done, and the characters are well enough designed. I'll give it a few more episodes to see if I'll watch it all the way through. Another weird entry for the season is Mute King, the Dancing Hero. Based on an 80s comedy, we have a kid moving to futuristic San Francisco, but a big corporation is trying to take over the world with their new inventions that sort of look like Apple products. The boy goes to a concert, and while the crowd is brainwashed, a DJ he met earlier gives him the power of song, and he turns into Mute King. Honestly, I was expecting way worse, but it's kinda fun. I'm a sucker for the 80s aesthetic, and this is it. With Plastic Love playing in the first seconds of the first episode, and a pretty well done opening. The Mute King animation is CGI, and it's a bit bad looking, but the craziness and goofy style of the characters and the 2D animation kinda works for me. I'd say give it a quick shot at the first episode to see if you like it. I also saw Taisho Maiden Fairy Tale. In an older era Japan, Tamahiko, a boy in a wealthy family, ends up losing the use of his hand, and is tagged as useless, and pretty much banished from his household. He is sent to a remote little town to live by himself. He is then sent a girl, which will be his bride, Yuzuki. She accepts as this will help her poor family, and is pretty upbeat to make the boy happy. What follows is a pretty cute romance and building of a relationship, as Yuzuki tries to help Shima regain his confidence and lust for life. It sort of feels like Duke of Death somewhat, but with actual good animation. I'm a sucker for some good romance anime, and these two have really good chemistry together. Visually nice with the lovely backgrounds and a chill vibe in the first episode that makes me want to go into Japan in the winter. Great voice acting, good designs, and you have another good anime to follow up this season. These last 5 shows are the ones that have impressed me the most. I definitely recommend them. If you're looking for a different kind of anime, with a more original type of animation, more focus on Japanese culture, and a really interesting premise, Heikei Monogatari might just be for you. Based on the 1956 book of the same name, it follows Biwa, a tomboyish girl with 2 different colored eyes with the power to see into the future. After her dad is murdered because of a dumb argument, she meets one of the chiefs of the Taira family, who also has a similar power to hers, and she warns him of the impending doom coming to their clan. Honestly, this is just visually beautiful. The story is a bit complex to describe, but it's basically 2 ancient Japanese clans in the brink of war, and a girl who can warn the dangers coming from the future. If historical anime isn't for you, at the very least check out the amazing character designs, beautiful background work, and animation that this brings. In a completely different setting, we have a small office girl trying to do her best to get recognized by her team and her big boy senpai. I adore this kind of anime. A slice of life romance comedy in the office setting isn't something new. Heck, the size difference in the couple isn't original either. But My Senpai is Annoying brings a cast of characters that are really charming, and the leads, Futaba and Harumi, have a great dynamic of the more experienced worker coaching and helping the new person who's trying to rise up the ranks with her hard work and determination, regardless of her cute appearance. Plus, the thought of having a work environment this hilarious and wholesome just makes me jealous. The designs are really appealing, the office and city vibe are super chill, and the OP is straight fire. I'm looking forward to seeing what hijinks come up, how the rest of the cast develops, and seeing if the ship sails. Probably the most beautiful looking anime this season, Tactopi Destiny, is an original show from Dream Team, Madhouse, and MAPPA. A meteor falls onto the earth, producing monsters called D2. Their one weakness is music, and it has been banned from the world. In order to fight the chaos, beings called music arts appear to fight the D2s, and are led by a conductor. We follow the story of Cassette and Tact. She is a powerful girl, but oblivious and needs to eat a lot to charge up her abilities. And Tact, a gifted musician who wants to return the joy of music to the world. Every time they play music, they attract the D2s, and we get to enjoy amazing fight sequences with superb animation. The story itself is a bit complex, but the animation, the style, and characters are definitely worth following this show alone. Plus, the OST and use of classical music to fight these creatures really catches me. Madhouse made a superb first episode, with MAPPA following up with a great second showing, explaining the main character's past. Definitely check it out. Another one that caught me with a mere premise is The Ranking of Kings. This anime feels like a world in a children's storybook. We follow the lovable Boji, a deaf prince who lives in a world where people look for heroes to rule. The current king is on his deathbed, and the search is on for who will be the next ruler among the sons. Boji unfortunately has a hard time fitting in because he's constantly ridiculed and being taken advantage of. On one such occasion, Kage, a shadow creature, comes to mug Boji, but surprisingly he can understand what he's trying to convey, and Boji can read his hand movements to talk with them, making them sort of friends. As mentioned, we have a sort of sibling rivalry to prove who is the best. And we have probably the best animated fight of the season so far, with beautiful squash and stretch and effects, showing how Boji, after pretty much going Ultra Instinct, is truly capable. I adore this show. Boji is so likable, and you just want to root for him so quickly to win the day. Plus, the touch of having an interpreter for him and showing sign language is truly awesome. The family is well designed, it has beautiful backdrops, everything is so well done. It feels like Wit made this with so much love, and after how great Vivi was this year, I'm so excited to watch this. Best boy Boji, let's go! Finally, while Ranking of Kings was my most awaited anime, I had also researched a bit on Komi-san. It seemed like a sweet, funny anime, but I honestly wasn't expecting much, since I was already satisfied with comedy, school life, romance shows, but I'm so happy to be wrong. Komi-san follows Komi, who is, on the outside, a beautiful, reserved girl who is so special and amazing that she doesn't want to waste her breath interacting with others, making her status in the social ladder unreachable, when in reality, she is the most shy person ever, and can't find a way to communicate anything to her classmates, and thus can't make any friends because she thinks she's scared of them away. Enter Tadano, a normal student who just wants to lay low and survive this crazy over-the-top school. Out of courtesy, he talks with Komi, and here starts a series of events that will make him her first friend, and help her on a mission to be able to socialize and create new friendships. The comedic timing is brilliant. The visuals, the sound effects, the voice acting really blend together to create moments of such pure comedy, but also knows when to hammer down on the emotional side of things. The character designs are simple, but it allows the studio to double down on making you feel what the characters feel, and make you laugh or emote when needed. And that beautiful moment that the leads share in the blackboard with Komi talking with someone for the first time had me so happy, almost crying. The story is just so relatable, knowing how in my school life it was so hard to talk to others and make yourself likable enough to be their friends, and failing to do so. You want to see Kame succeed, you want to see her happy. This is another level show, and that's saying a lot with all the great shows I've talked about here. It's so faithful to the source material and adds its own flair to make it pretty much perfect in my eyes. If you're gonna watch just one anime from what I've talked about today, watch this one. And that was my impressions of the anime of the season. Phew, that was a lot of stuff to watch. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, I'm very happy you did. This was a tough season to follow, but I'm really excited to see how these shows will fare in the next weeks. Tell me in the comments what shows you're hyped for. I'd love to hear what you're watching. Let me know in the comments if I should change my mind on something, or if I somehow missed something. I'd also love to know how it can improve, and see if it's worthwhile to watch all this anime, and then talk about it. Because yes, it's something I love to do, but I'd love to hear more opinions on this. And if you can drop a like and sub, that's always helpful. Well, hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you all for the next one. Bye.